up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here, honey, to talk about, girl, yesterday I made a video and y'all was like, are you going to talk about Ralph and Drew? Are you going to talk about Ralph and Drew? Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know you stopped by. Please do not forget to like the video, subscribe to get the notifications of uploads and premieres, right? Girl, so yesterday, after I made my video, I get a text from Nate. He sends me a text at 8:27. I had been stopped making videos. He said, Ralph filed for divorce from Drew. I said, bitch, storyline? He said, I just sent it to you on Insta. So I go on Instagram and I see that People Magazine has reported that Ralph Pittman has filed for divorce from Drew Zedora. And I was like, oh my God. So, I posted on the community tab. I was like, girl, what's going on? Do y'all think this is a storyline? This and that. Then another story comes out from TMZ. And the TMZ article says that it was actually Drew who filed for divorce an hour and 1 minute before Ralph filed for divorce, right? That Achilles heel wasn't broken that day. Baby, that bitch said, shoo. She ran down to the courthouse, and immediately the first thing that I thought was Ralph went to the media first, so it can be on the blogs. It was on People. It wasn't on any other blogs. It was just on People Magazine on their Instagram, right? And then the second thing that I saw was TMZ. And then that's when TMZ said, according to the court documents, TMZ will get in there. According to the court documents, she filed first, right? But one of the things that I think that these shows are good for is that you can recognize behaviors in people and be able to identify, abuse, right? We have been able to identify that Ralph is an abusive person. Behind the smile, he has those little beady eyes. He has that balloon-shaped head. And he's been sneaky, had video cameras all over the house, leaving for Tampa, not wanting to adopt the son, having the assistant on his phone, asking for pictures and stuff like that. Just abusive, right? But then you have on the other side, Drew, who acts like she is this God-fearing PK. I believe she's a PK, God-fearing PK who's going to abide by the good books rule of letting your man lead, following your man no matter what, and keeping a good face, giving other women poor advice, like really bad advice. She gave Sonya bad advice, telling Sonya and on Watch What Happens Live, you should do what your husband asks for you to do. Your body basically is to make babies, so you should do that. Yeah, that's what Drew was saying. Like that type of chick, right? But we looked at Ralph and was like, that nigga's no good. Like, girl, when are you going to wake up, right? You're a fool for even being in this relationship. He seems like he disrespects you. Then the story comes out. Listen to this. RHOA, Drew Zedora, accuses husband of cheating and abuse in the new divorce filing. She's laying out exactly why she's calling it quits with her estranged husband, accusing him of cheating, abuse, and messing with her finances. In an amended divorce complaint obtained by TMZ, Drew says she simply cannot take Ralph's continued blatant disrespect, mental abuse any longer. She goes on to accuse Ralph of being a serial cheater during their marriage, even claiming some of the women he allegedly had affairs with have rubbed it in her face, sending her screenshots of their sext. When you talk nasty over the text message, they call it sexting. So they've been sending her screenshots of their conversations with Ralph. That's not all. Drew also says Ralph has recently gotten physical with her, claiming last month he grabbed her phone out of her hand, causing her to fall to the floor. She says Ralph yelled at her, says he's paying the phone bill, so the phone belongs to him. What did I tell y'all about being dependent on men? I don't care. I'm sorry, but I don't care what the Bible says. If it's something, there's a book, and not everything is right in a book. You shouldn't take everything for word in a book. I'm sorry. It is a book written by man. Take what resonates and compost the rest. But you don't take the parts that cause you to be financially dependent on a person, on a human being who can change their mind at any time. It doesn't make sense to do that. It doesn't make any logical sense to do that. That's why they bank on you having faith, because faith doesn't require any fucking logic. It doesn't. And you have faith in a man, right? And it's so weird how you pray to a man, you kneel to a man, your salvation is dependent on you accepting a man as your personal savior. And you wonder why these women worship men. You wonder why they worship men. You've been trained to think that a man is going to do right by you, like your father God does. That's not going to happen. That is a human being. It's like, it's weird. And there's so many women who follow this doctrine and end up in the worst positions because you've put your faith in a human being. Girl, because some book told you to do it. Even though logically you say, you know what? I probably shouldn't put my, and especially if the man is abusive. He's not even a nice person. He doesn't treat you kind. He's disrespectful. And you want to put your faith in this person and depend on him to where he can grab a phone out of your hand and tell you, I pay the bill. And now he's trying to put her out of the house because remember he signed. He closed on the house when they were in Savannah. They were in Savannah and he closed on the house. There was somebody in Rodney's comment saying that Georgia law says as long as they were married, that even if he just signed on the house by himself, as long as they were married at the time, he cannot be putting her out of their quote unquote marital home. She has 3 children, 2 with him and 1 Josiah, who she and her mother, last season, they were begging Ralph to adopt that boy. The abuse didn't start last year. The abuse started before that. So the fact that you would want that was what makes me think that something is wrong with y'all, because the fact that you know that this man is abusive, financially abusive, constantly cheating on you, and last season you're trying, are you going to adopt him? Looking all up in his face. Are you going to adopt Josiah? Are you going to adopt Josiah? Then he has the nerve to write a book about being a step parent as an abusive man. He abuses the mother of his stepchild. And you really writing a book? I'm telling you, I told y'all about Ralph from the very beginning. Everything about him gave me like he ain't shit. I don't give a fuck how he looks. I never have found Ralph attractive. I know some people are like, Ralph is a good looking man and this and that. No, I don't give a fuck. That nasty face. You can look at his face and see the evil in his face. You can. And the fact that you wanted him to adopt, I'm telling you that the abuse that she's alleging that she endured with him, it didn't just start in the last year or the last year and a half. It didn't just start. So the fact that you would even be asking this fucking abusive man to adopt your child and give him his last name, and you hate to see it, but y'all have to stop that Stepford wife shit. Like, oh, I'm going to follow this man. I'm going to follow this man. I'm going to follow this man. We have told you time and time again that when you put yourself in a dependent situation with a man, you are going to be abused in some way, especially if he is a man of low character. If you have a dude with high character who is going to do right by you, fine. I'm talking about these nicks with low character that you allow to lead you simply because he has a penis, because some fucking book told you. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And look at the position she's in now. Look at the position Ashley is in now. Ashley Darby went over there and married somebody 30 years older than her, married her father. She's running around town looking for her white daddy. And she went over there, married him, let him do whatever. Like I said last night, I hope Ashley's Bravo checks aren't going to this LLC. Because then you're really fucking stuck, dummy. But y'all want to depend on men. Y'all want to think these men are dumb. Y'all want to go get the bag. All these different ways that you attach yourself to these men. For what? And then you end up with nothing. She says Ralph got physically aggressive with her. She's even considered leaving Atlanta and flying her 3 minor children to Chicago where they feel safe. She also says at one point he withdrew a large sum of money from her account. Why does he have access to your account? Why don't you have a joint account and your own account? Oh no, because he's the man and he's supposed to take care of the finances. Like when you have to realize at some point when the book is giving bad advice, and you have to look back and say, you know what? The way that this book is asking me to show up in a marriage isn't conducive for me. I don't want to depend on somebody who can turn around and tell you and withdraw money from your account because you decided to put him on your account because he's the head of the household. Drew says she and Ralph tried counseling, but it didn't work. In fact, she states after leaving a counseling session, Ralph asked her to give him a heads up before filing for divorce, and that no matter what happened, he let her file for first. Interesting enough, both Ralph and Drew filed for divorce on the same day, February 27th. She beat him by 1 hour. She's asking for primary physical custody and joint legal custody of their 2 kids. We've reached out to Ralph. So far, no word back. The narcissist that he is, he needed to go to the blogs first because every single headline was Ralph filed for divorce. That's all he cared about. He doesn't care that he's getting a divorce. He wanted the world to think that he filed first, that he discarded her, right? She discarded him first. That's what he was trying to avoid. Because you don't get to discard a narcissist. They get very upset if you leave them before they're done sucking the life out of you, breaking you all the way down, having you needing to wear wigs, losing weight, belly fat, finances drained. You're going into her bank account, and then he also wants her out of the house because saying that he paid for the house. You have to be very mindful of the way that you depend on somebody, the way that I wouldn't suggest it, but a lot of people follow the good book that tells you how the roles how they need to look and how they need to be structured. A lot of the times it puts a woman at a great disadvantage. It just does. And we've seen it so many times that I feel like, why isn't anybody kind of deconstructing that part of the word that leaves women in these terrible situations being put out with 3 kids, like the same that Lenny is doing with Lisa. They don't care. That's why I'm telling y'all to give your babies your name. These, when they're done, they're done. And it's crazy how there's no emotional attachment to the children, to the point where you would say, you know what, you stay here with the kids. I'll go get a condo or something until we get this all figured out. I'm trying to put you out. Lenny's doing the same thing, trying to put her out. That's why they told her, don't leave the home. Remember when all the women were telling Lisa, do not get your stuff. Do not abandon the marital home. Don't stay there. Ralph wants Drew out. This is from that was from TMZ. Cheating, mental abuse, a serial cheater, blatant disrespect, abused her mentally, financially, and at one point got physically aggressive with her. Zadora simply stated their marriage is irrevocably broken. She's now amended her complaint, saying that she cannot take Pittman's continued blatant disrespect and mental abuse any longer. We told y'all about, and that's the reason, like, when you are able to identify an abusive person, don't allow anyone to tell you something different. If you see it and you see the signs and you can put 2 and 2 together, you know that everybody knew that Ralph was abusive. Everybody knew it. Lying, the smiling, the everything about his whole demeanor. It was like this. He's a narcissist, an abusive person who is mistreating his wife while she sits there and gives other women advice, telling them they should do what their husband asked. When my husband asked me for a child, I gave him one. Basically, that's what your body is for, to give men children when they want them. While she is at the same time being financially abused, mentally abused. That's how you know it's something here. And it literally has to be the indoctrination for you to even be in an abusive situation, giving other women advice to do what their husbands ask of them. It's crazy. Then, after Drew and Ralph, Peter was in court because he was accused and later found not guilty of choking a patron. We heard the story. It was Tamara Rivera's niece. He got a not guilty verdict, and he was, walking down the street. Looked like he was crying, maybe. Even though he got not guilty doesn't mean he didn't put his hands on the woman. What I picture, I don't know, what happened. There's no video evidence of what happened. But what I picture him doing, the lady said he choked her for 30 seconds. That's a long time to be choking somebody. But he probably put his hands like that against the woman. I could see a man doing that, right? Like in Peter, like moving. Peter, one thing I would say, Peter needs to stop drinking, because apparently he was drunk and intoxicated during this altercation with his patron, who apparently was a little bit more personal with Peter than just a patron, right? But I believe it was like like not a choke per se, but like, I'm pushing you down to get off of me. I could see that happening. I could see Peter pushing a woman. Just because he got a not guilty doesn't mean the actions that led up to the complaint or the lawsuit didn't happen, right? That's how I see it. That's how I see it. On top of that, Peter comes out and he says that he wants Mia. He was sent a clip of Mia and Wendy going back and forth. And when Mia just blurted out that you wanted to give Peter the cookie, or you gave Peter the cookie, you went out to dinner with him, they shared an entree, and you gave him the cookie. This was literally after Wendy was yelling at her and trying to tell, I was about to call her Monique, Mia, that it's been a year and you can't even take accountability. She was like, oh yeah, oh well, so you want to talk about how you wanted to give Peter the cookie? And that's why everybody was saying that Mia is dangerous, because she's a pathological liar, right? You have the narcissist Ralph, and then you have the pathological liar Mia, who just says anything out of her mouth. I don't trust people like that. I wouldn't want to be around people like that. They could just make up anything and affect your real life, right? They're dangerous. People like that I don't think should be on television. I feel like people like that shouldn't be allowed to be public figures. Like, I don't even like talking about Mia outside of Real Housewives of Potomac reviews, because I wish that her, Mia Nocchio, and Geppetto would go back to being private citizens. I am offended that I know who they are. You understand what I'm saying? Like, who are you people? You came on, you lying about everything. You're just a huge liar. And you lied on Chris, and then you turn around and lied on Wendy. And then even in her comments, she said, so what? And because she believes that Wendy saying that y'all sleep with men and women is defamatory. Because remember the other day, the worst thing a black man could be is gay or bisexual. That's the worst thing. So when you say that, it comes off as you're defaming my character, because I'm not a man who would sleep with other men. That says something about my character. It's so bad. So she admitted in her comments, I took a screenshot of it. She said, so what? Here, where's the picture? Then Mia posted, she posted a video, later deleted it, posted a video of Wendy. Peter was holding the camera. Wendy had eaten. He was talking about the food. She was like, the red snapper, it was crispy, it was good. People were acting like Wendy was flirty. She didn't look like she was flirting. She looked like she was full and tipsy to me. And that was her video proof as to Wendy wanting to give Peter the cookie. Somebody said, but you did lie about Wendy and Peter sleeping together. She lied on G sleeping with men. So what? And then somebody said, now you know she didn't say that. You knew exactly what she meant when she said it. Stop. And then somebody came back and said, at least you admitted you don't tell the truth. Somebody who could just spit something out, just a lie like that, I just feel like shouldn't be given a platform. I feel like honestly, Bravo really needs to take Real Housewives of Potomac off air for a season. They need to fucking relax. Because then this morning, we get a notification that Gullum, the scab of a man, the crypt creeper, the dirty old man with worms, is suing Candiace for defamation for saying that he likes to suck cock. How come he didn't sue about anything else? Because he's a man of low character. But you want to fuck with Candiace. He has a hard-on for Candiace. He does, because Candiace clocks him. She's the only one who doesn't kiss his ass, Giselle, Robin, Juan, everybody fucking else on that fucking show. She's the only one who doesn't kiss Michael Darby's ass. And now he's trying to sue her because she said that Michael paid somebody to suck his thing. Pays to suck somebody else's thing, not pays to get his thing sucked. He pays another man to suck his thing, allegedly. They like to sue. And when you get, and then like Peter, let me go back to Peter and Mia. he tells Mia that he wants her to keep his name out of his mouth, out of her mouth. I don't know nobody like that on this cast. Even though they cut out um there was, I guess, a rumor about Giselle and Peter messing with Peter. They cut that out of the season. We didn't see that. And maybe Giselle was like, no, don't put that, because that's a complete and blatant lie, and I don't want to get in trouble. But Peter, one thing I do want to say is that you telling Mia that, I got beef with Wendy, you kind of lit a fire under Mia's ass. And for some reason, Mia felt like she needed to defend your honor. But now coming out, Mia, I think Mia has taken it too far, right? By saying, oh, you wanted to sleep with Peter, when we actually believe the reason why you behave that way, you were throwing drinks and trying to hit Wendy with a purse, is because you have an affinity for Peter. Because why would you go on the defense for a man in that way that you really don't have a connection to like that? So then G comes out, old granddaddy face husband. He comes out and says that oh, you didn't know us like that. He's talking to Peter. You didn't know us like that when we was on boats. You didn't know us like that when you were the second man who held my child after she was born. Oh, you didn't know us like that when I let you borrow $60,000 to pay off some bills or something like that. You didn't know us like that. So I'm just like, is Mia ruining all her relationships with people for a Bravo check? And if I was an executive at Bravo, I feel like there has to be a level of just responsibility with being able to be on the show. You can't just lie on people. You can't tell lies on people. You can't come on here lying. I'm wondering, when they do casting, like when they pull the tapes, what exactly are they looking for in a Bravo housewife? I would really like someone to ask Andy that, because what we're getting from even Jen Shaw, like, how did y'all not, Jen Shaw, Jenny Wynn, how did that racist piece of get on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City? How? Like, y'all don't do background checks? What is going on? How did Mia get selected over a Scala? How? What was more interesting? What was more interesting in Mia than of a Scala? Where did Mia come from? Who introduced her? Yes, Karen introduced her, but I don't think Karen know each other. Where did they get this woman from? Why did they decide to make this woman a public figure? I'm offended that I know who this woman is and that she could just sit on TV and lie on people. Giselle too, another fucking liar. Like, y'all just lie on people. Y'all lying to change people's realities. That's dangerous and it's irresponsible. And I don't think that people should be awarded a platform like Bravo if you are a dangerous person. I think you should be fired immediately. I think their contract should be negotiated annually per season with an option to terminate at the end of the season. Because who are you? Who are you, Mia? You lie. You're a literal pathological liar. And what are you offering? What are you offering to this show? Potomac needs to take a break. Potomac literally needs to take a break. They need to go back to the drawing board. Potomac is just, and then Michael suing Candiace. Let's see. Let's read this. Let's read this. Michael Darby sues Candiace Diller Basket. Your oral sex claims are BS. This is Ashley's child's father. This is who she chose to procreate with, to make sure that she didn't end up under a tent again. under a tent, under a freeway, under an overpass. This is what she decided. She went out and found her a man, 30 years her senior, flaky skin. You could see his dry skin, flaky skin, beady eyes, no lips, brown teeth, and a deviant. This is who she procreated with to make sure that she was going to be secure in her life, and ended up with nothing. Michael Darby is taking Candiace Dillard Bassett to court for defamation after she claimed he offered up cash to have sexual relations with another man. According to legal docs obtained by TMZ, Ashley Darby's husband is suing Candiace over comments she made during latest season of the reality series. If that's the case, then Chris should sue Giselle. Peter should sue Mia. Like, Wendy should sue Mia for assault. If that's what we're doing, like, literally, Real Housewives of Potomac needs to take a break. Like, what the fuck is this show? Who are you fucking people? This shit is crazy. And then you got, I don't even want to mention Robin and Juan with whatever they got going over there with him in the laundromat with a woman who looks like Karen. It's a mess. According to legal docs, where she didn't hold back during one of their many arguments. Here she goes.
I've also heard that Chris has been in some other DMs that are not quite as innocuous and innocent as mine.
Ashley, your husband likes to leave you.
Do you want to
go to a man named house and suck his dick? Oh, I'm not joking.
So that's what he wants. That's what he's suing her over. On the show, Candiace tells Ashley, your husband likes to leave you and go to a man, and then they cut his name out and suck his dick. She never says who the guy is, but Candiace later claimed Michael paid for sex. Michael's calling BS on all of it, adding he sent her a cease and desist earlier this year regarding her comments, and he wanted her to issue him a public apology, but claims she has yet to retract her allegations. He wants $2 million in damages to make things right. Fans of the show know Candiace and Darby have a long-standing beef, with her calling Michael and Ashley out numerous times, and the latest incident took things too far, though, at least to Michael. We've reached out to reps for Candiace. So far, no word back. First of all, I think the entire cast, I think the majority of the cast on Real Housewives of Potomac is irresponsible. And I feel like their platform should be taken from them, because you guys are out of hand. Lying on people, it's just too much. And it's like, what are you doing? This is supposed to be the Real Housewives. Maybe they should change the name of the show. Maybe they should take them out of the Real Housewives franchises and give them another name for this show. I feel like I feel like, when you go to franchises of a, like a chain, and they're owned by different people, but it's a chain, right? Franchises. And you can go in one franchise and it's like, girl, looks a mess in here. Customer service is bad. It's dirty. Bathrooms aren't clean. It looks a mess in here. And you don't want them to be a representative of the entire chain. I feel like there's tissue paper all over the floor. I feel like the bathrooms are dirty in Potomac. I feel like it should be taken. It's not representative. It is not a good representative of that's why I would want to ask Andy, like, what are you asking for out of a housewife? Like, what is it that you're asking for? I want to know, because I feel like the Potomac cast and what they have going on over there is not, it's just very toxic. It's weird. I don't understand what they're doing over there. And in the midst of all that, it's just a level of relatability that is just like, ugh, we tune in to escape. We do not tune in to watch shit that is completely relatable, right? We can find these women relatable through their personalities, but with their, adornments and all of their, wealth and luxury, that's what we tune in to see. And we're tuning in, like we're talking about it on Rodney's live. We don't tune into this shit to be triggered. And it seems to be triggering for a lot of people. So many people have said, we're done with Potomac. We're done. Right? All of this stuff going on, the line, Ashley, line, it's March 2nd. Did Ashley file for divorce? She said she has to file for a divorce by February. Can y'all go down to the courthouse and see if Ashley filed for divorce? I doubt she did. Just lying so that Michael doesn't have to film, because we know how he is. We know when he gets around the crew, he doesn't know how to act. We know that. That's a fact and documented in the courthouse. Yeah. And if I was Candiace, if he's trying to sue you for defamation, I would actually provide receipts to say what I was stating was actually a fact and not some shit I just blurted out of my mouth. That's what she should produce. Oh, I would fight that lawsuit and I would show proof. Candiace, you need to get proof. And that's it. And don't fuck with Ashley Darby. Because if I see you in her face one more, no, that's you. That's on you. That's what I said last night. You have to trust her. Not me, not anybody else. That's on you. What's going on? What's going on? And then Mia comes out some more with something. Let me go to All True Tea. Mia says, y'all can sit here and glaze over that girl accusing Geppetto of sleeping with a man if you want. Defamatory. That's what's not cool. Also accusing me of sleeping with that man first. That's what's corny. But for real, I don't have. So why were you going so hard? That's the question. Like, that's the thing. Like, these are the questions we want at the reunions. It's like, why were you going so hard? And, Andy did say you seem to try to be making something out of nothing, right? Trying to create conflict. And then you get mad at the girl and throw a drink on her. And then when she starts defending herself and yelling at you, you try to throw the purse at her. And then at the reunion, when she's telling you it's been a year and you haven't taken accountability, you're like, well, you try to give Peter the cookie. Why? What is that for? What was that supposed to do? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that? Ugh. Like I said, I am so annoyed that I know who these people are. Annoyed. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say. I don't know. Like I said, Real Housewives of Potomac, I feel like y'all need to take a break. I feel like they need to break y'all for a season. I feel like everybody needs to be put on ice, be put on pause, as Andy says. I feel like y'all need to be put on pause for a season. I really do. Because I think it'll actually give everybody a chance. I feel like they should take a break and go back to the drawing board, decide whether what they are deciding as a cast to contribute to Bravo, is it Housewives worthy? Should they be taken out of the franchise and given their own separate show called something else? Like, I don't know, the Twilight Zone, maybe that. You like, what are you? How are you showing up for the franchise? You understand what I'm saying? You guys are delivering a lot of things that are toxic. You guys are not friends. You don't hang out. You lie on each other. What are y'all contributing? Take out the black woman thing, but just what are y'all contributing to as your individual selves? What are you contributing to this ensemble? And what are y'all delivering to the people? Are y'all proud of it? Are y'all proud of what y'all give? Like literally, can you say we're proud as a cast of Potomac of how we show up? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And then for y'all to be like literally the cast that is like, okay, girl, like, oh, we get fiats. Y'all tell me what y'all think. We told y'all about Ralph. We told y'all about Ralph. Drew, I hope you reevaluate how you want men to show up in your life and how much faith you would put in a human male that's been socialized to be your oppressor and is literally you're in an oppressive relationship, abusive, oppressive, suppressive, mentally abused. And you probably need to analyze why you were in an abusive relationship and giving advice to a woman to listen to her husband and give her husband what he wants. Like that's something that needs to be analyzed. And also analyze the reason why you wanted to give your son an abusive man's last name. How about you give him your last name? So I know it's wild. I know it's wild. I know it goes against your patriarchal programming, but why don't you give your son your last name? Since you will probably be the most constant figure in his life for most of his life. Why don't you give him your last name, sweetie? I'm glad she's out of that relationship. I'm glad for any woman getting out of an abusive relationship. But I would like Drew to analyze why you wanted to give your son an abusive man's last name, and why would you advise another woman as you reside in an abusive relationship? Why would you advise another woman to listen to her husband and do what her husband asks for her and give her husband a baby that he wants, while your husband is putting you and the babies you gave him the fuck out of his house? Those are things that should be, because I feel like with Ralph and Drew, whenever she gets out of this, I feel like when you leave a narcissist, it's going to be hell. Tamra Judge, ask her about it. Who else? Just go online and look up when people leave narcissists, they get upset. They don't like it. And he's going to give her a hard time. I feel like he's a very petty person. I just feel like he's like this sinister, evil little like imp. You know what I'm saying? Go look up an imp. That's what Ralph gives me, like this little evil, like sinister, sneaky, underhanded, shady person, not to be trusted. I don't give a fuck. And that's the problem. You think every fucking man with a penis is supposed to be a leader, head of household, and all this stuff. And a lot of these motherfuckers are weird and fucking twisted. And they want to get you in a relationship where they can dominate, suppress, oppress, and abuse you. And you running around talking about he's the head of the household. He's the head of the household, looking like a fucking dumbass. I question when Drew first came on the show, wasn't her she said her Achilles, it was her Achilles, and then it was the other Achilles when they were in, where were they, in Jamaica? Didn't she have another broken something in that time? Or maybe I'm thinking about another housewife who had a cast on. He didn't just get abusive in the last 18 months. He's been abusive. He's been abusive. So I would really like Drew to analyze why she was going to make the decision to give her child an abusive man, the man who was abusing her, his last name. You cannot be that indoctrinated. You can't. You can't. And I want to know what advice her mother, preacher mother, is giving her, because they be the best male worshipers, giving the men the benefit of the doubt, listening to the man, allowing him to lead, all of this other stuff. And you put your faith in these weird ass niggas, and they turn around and they abuse you. And now he wants you out of his house. Take care of yourselves. Don't put up with nobody's bullshit. You have an option to leave. You leave for the kids. You don't stay for the kids. You don't want your children to watch you grow up and absorb that toxic behavior. You don't want your children to grow up watching their mother be mistreated and abused, even in the slightest ways, even if it's verbal abuse. Hearing their father call you names and make fun of you and have you be the butt of the jokes. No. Leave. That's why you shouldn't depend on these men, because you need to be able to leave when it's no longer suiting you. Like that guy said, women leave so easy in this generation. Yes. Get your shit, and get the fuck up out of there. Honestly, truly. Take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. And keep the promises you make to yourself. Don't forget to like the video on your way out.